So I'll start with something sweet and simple, my cinnamon twists. Just that nice little sweet treat. So to make the pastry, I have 1 cup of unsalted butter here. I'm just going to smooth it out a little bit and add 6 ounces of cream cheese. These cinnamon twists store well, so you can bake them when you have time on the weekend, and then they're great for grabbing when you're on the run during the week. I'll add 2 tablespoons of sugar. There's not a lot of sugar in the dough because the sweetness comes from the cinnamon sugar I sprinkle on top. 2 cups of all-purpose flour. And I don't add any salt to this dough recipe because there's already salt in the cream cheese itself. And I just blend this until the flour is worked in. Now that my dough is almost fully formed, I'm just going to use my hands to shape it into 2 discs. And I'll wrap these 2 discs in plastic. Now this is ready to pop in the fridge, and you want to give it at least 2 hours to firm up. That way, it's easier to roll. It won't be so sticky. And here it is, chilled and ready to roll. But before that, I want to get my cinnamon sugar, what I'm going to sprinkle on top of the pastry after I roll it out. Just half a cup of sugar with half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And I like the addition of lemon zest. There we go, about a teaspoon of the zest, and just give that a quick stir. This is one of those treats that smells so good as it's baking. Now I'm ready to roll. I lightly flour my work surface and then roll away. What I want to do here is roll out my dough into a rectangle, about 10 by 15. Now, because this is an easy recipe, when you trim the edges of your rectangle, it doesn't have to be a precise rectangle. Just trim away some of the rough edges. I've melted a 1/4 cup of butter, and I'm just going to brush the entire surface of this piece of dough. I'm only using half of the butter. Now, a generous sprinkling of that cinnamon sugar with the lemon zest. And on half of this rectangle, I'm going to sprinkle raisins. I use half a cup here and the other half a cup for the second piece of dough. Now what I do is I fold the rectangle in half and I give it a good press. I'll even roll it a little bit. And now I cut this into 8 strips. They're each about 1 inch wide. Bring over my parchment lined baking tray. And then all you have to do is give them a nice little twist. The nice thing about this dough is it holds its shape, so these won't untwist as they bake. These do tend to look rustic, but once they bake up, they actually kind of fluff up and turn almost flaky. That's why they're so appealing as a morning treat. And I'll set this aside while I roll my second piece of dough. So if you wanted to, you could switch up your fillings. You could put walnuts or pecans or different dried fruits. Now to trim the edges. Brush it with the remaining butter. On goes the cinnamon sugar with the lemon zest, and of course the raisins. Give it a little press, and then away we go into 8 more portions. So the whole recipe makes 16. If morning sweets aren't your thing, you could actually skip the cinnamon sugar and sprinkle on some grated cheese, a mix of cheddar and Parmesan. Now the finishing touch before they go into the oven is a little bit of egg wash. Just an egg whisked with 2 tablespoons of cold water. This adds shine and promotes a nice even browning. Part of the appeal of this little morning treat is the crisp and the crunch in addition to the sweetness. So a final sprinkle of cinnamon sugar on top makes sure that outside is going to be nice and crunchy. I've preheated my oven to 375, and they only take 20 minutes to bake. They're going to turn a nice, rich golden brown. Oh, don't these look sweet? And they smelled so good as they were baking. That combination of the cinnamon and the lemon together, I love it. Now, I do let them cool completely on the tray. They are soft and fragile when they come out of the oven, but then once they're cooled, well, you can store them for really up to a week. an easy grab-and-go treat to start your day right. Oh, look at that flakiness. Oh, that's just right.